it James Horner that did the soundtrack?
Hold on. And also to answer your question, Fink, it was Patrick Wilson and Bone Tomahawk.
Okay, thank you for that. Now it's good to get the information out to the people.
Mm-hmm.
I'll interject here, just because just to wade in on that. But excellent choice, wonderful choice.
Yeah.
Won Denzel the Oscar, right? So
yeah,
you have that.
James Horner, nice call.
Nice call. No, yeah, it definitely has that feel to it. Everything. It is set up so well though, right? Because Shaw goes to the character, to the Denzel's character. I can't remember where he was, his character name in the movie, but he offers him the right to carry.
Well, his name was Trip.
Okay, so he offers. He says he gives him the honor of carrying the colors, of which he absolutely wants no part of, right?
Yeah.
Because why would he? He's literally been brought to he's been born into bondage. The skin ripped off his back multiple times. Right. And he's fighting, he's not, as he says, he's just not fighting for that flag. Right. It's all that, but still you can see the moment coming a mile away. And yet when he grabs that flag, it says, come on, right? You absolutely want, you're going with him. There's no doubt in your mind. Right. Like
I always had mixed feelings about that scene because it was like, oh, see, we always got to do the thing where, we let white folks know that we don't really hate them.
Yeah.
And it was like, I feel like, we didn't need that scene, but when it happened, yeah, right. You were for it.
And I think that's a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
Right. I think that shows why, that's why something actually becomes Oscar worthy, right? A scene is coming, a scene is cliche as shit that you're even kind of rolling your eyes about thinking about, but you're like, yeah, damn it, but he did it.
He did it.
But he totally pulled it off, right? Absolutely.
It was so honest about the different kinds of individuals that were even like the contraband slaves. Remember the contraband army?
Yes. Yep.
And the Cajun ones where they, didn't even sound like they were speaking English, all the way up to Snowflake, like it was rough on Snowflake.
Jupiter. That's Jupiter.
Yeah.
I remember that.
The funny thing with Gloria, I always felt like, although I left off the list of any historical people. So like Malcolm X, I had the exact same reaction at the end of Malcolm X. Greg was talking about on the way home, I was all snot boogers and crying and swearing off all sorts of things and promising all sorts of academic endeavors. Like I was struggling in Spanish that year. And I was like, I'm going to go home and get fluent because that's something Malcolm X would want me to do. And like literally did not.
Did you write out the dictionary?
Yeah, I literally did not do any Spanish homework whatsoever after that.
Lasted the ride home.
I think I switched to French after. I'm not sure, but to Greg's point with Gloria, I remember watching it, and it was weird because similar to Josh, my dad was very big in history, so stuff like that had already been talked about a lot of times, even by 8, I think, by the time I saw it. But what was effed up to me and what kind of switched the game up for me was I'm sitting there kind of similar to Greg thinking like, all right, like I know these guys died, but they're probably going to like maybe end the credits as they're going up the hill.
Right.
Or, make it somewhat historic or, fuck it, it's movies. They're going to lie anyway. So, they'll probably have someone, make it historic, make some sort of historic thing. And homeboy's walking up the hill and he's like, come on. He turns around, his head blows up. That's when I was like, oh, no. All right, everyone's dead. If they didn't kill the white guy immediately right at the top of the hill, we're all dead. This is all over. You might as well just call it a day.
It was Saving Private Ryan before they were Saving Private Ryan.
Basically, and the only thing that had me going was my dad basically behind me with all the knowledge of knowing about like the 54th and all that. Like I knew they didn't really make it, but the side won, and it was a big win of a battle and all these. So I had like sort of this historic, heroic background behind it. But again, homeboy's head blowing up right at the beginning of the battle. It was like, yep, this is over. This is over right now. Roll credits.
I gotta divert us for just a second because it's a legit story and we may cut it out, but I have a Denzel Washington story that I got to tell, like legit.
My man.
Which I mean, it's everyone's bad, right? So when I lived in LA, I worked at a promotions house. So we made trailers and television spots for the movies that you would see. And as much was the case, this was 98 at this point. As was often the case and still is in Hollywood, when people get enough money, they always like to invest in a restaurant, usually with a star's name attached to it. The star does, of course, no work on the restaurant. Even the guy buying the restaurant has no name, is not doing any work on the restaurant. They are just fronting the cash for the restaurant as the vanity project, excuse me. So the gentleman who ran, was the biggest muckety muck, who always loved to let you know that, loved to run things in the company like he was a mobster. I won't say his name, but he invested in a restaurant with Denzel Washington. So one day I get a call doing my job, and this is, like I say, it's 98, and we have 6 or 8 avids in the house. So all these things run 50 to, probably 100 G's a piece at the time. And we get told that that one of the assistant editors is going to be pulled off on a project for a day, and I'm going to be pulled off on a project for a day. And we show up and we go down, and there's a young boy. He's probably about 10 or 12, and standing next to him is Denzel Washington.
Oh,
Denzel Washington is his dad, of course. So he knows the owner of this company, and his son has made a film for school, right? Oh. Which is just, pretty righteous. So for the day, we were his son's editors on his school project. What made nothing better, though, was when, of course, we sat down to edit this film. He has all of his friends in the movie, of course, as one does, as a kid does.
He did, yeah.
Right. And then all of a sudden, Denzel fucking Washington walks into the middle of the scene. And it's like taking all my power, and I grab him and be like, you got Denzel in your movie.
Right. It's officially Oscar worthy now.
Holy shit, you got Denzel in this. Is all I wanted to say the entire time. And it's, of course, his dad, right? So nothing is more natural, but it was one of the more surreal and funnier stories of my life that, and he's totally Denzel in this movie. He's acting next to 10-year-olds, and he's doing the pouty lips, and he's got the finger out at one point, and he's like he's 110% turning on the Denzel. I'm like, your dad is turning on Denzel in the middle of your fucking movie.
As Denzel.
How fucking awesome is your life, kid? Do you have any idea? Like, how amazing your fucking life is. This is great, kid. I want to hug him and kiss him. So yeah, we got his project edited and sent him out the door. But that's still my favorite Denzel story.
First of all, you have a Denzel story.
Legit.
Mm-hmm. So moving on.
Yeah, promise it happened. All right.
You have a Denzel story.
Hopefully it won't detract too much from the rest of the episode. But I
actually hate Denzel in the best way, because 2 things happened to me when he's in the movie. One, I'm automatically gonna like it. He's made so many shitty movies better just from being in it, and half the time you can tell he's not even trying. And then the other part is, if he dies, I'm going to cry. It's automatic. It's just going to happen. It doesn't even matter if he's a bad guy. I'm like, oh, he sucks. Oh, it's awful.
Oh, it's so sad. All right, RaShaun. Well, on that note, since you've already kind of brought up what's making you cry, you tell me what's next on your list today.
Well, I will have to go with, since we're on the what the fucks, I will have to go with, even though I saw it coming, frankly, I think everyone saw it coming. It was Sam L. in Deep Blue Sea.
Oh, you got one of mine, son of a bitch.
Whatever, man. Greg just took my glory, so I don't even care. I don't even care anymore. Lists don't even matter with the esteemed gentleman. Glory.
No.
Yeah, you stole my glory. Yes. No pun intended on the phrase.
I'm a pun the fuck out of that.
But I think the problem I had with it, on top of just how much of a what the fuck it was just say it was so obvious it was happening, to the point of they're not gonna do it. they're not like they're zooming in slowly on them. There's nothing behind them but just open water. They're escaping a shark that can basically figure out hallways and figure out how to like use elevators and shit like that. I mean, this shark has done everything but not finish the foie gras that LL was cooking in that galley. I mean, the shark has really figured out everything. And Sam's going to stand at the edge of the pool going on this giant heroic soliloquy about how they're going to make it out. And like, as soon as he said he'd make it out, it's like, yeah, all right, he's dead. He's dying right now. And then as even the shark comes up, it's still like, God damn it, you guys are really going to do this, aren't you? And it was just, I don't know, it was one of those moments where it was just so perfectly obvious. That was so obvious to the point where you almost thought it wouldn't happen. But then it did happen. And still, it's just like, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? I mean, I know I brought this up before in other podcasts. I have to put that in the group of Fox and Warriors in the sense of you're just watching, all of a sudden, the character gone, off the screen, off the show, off the movie, off all storyline whatsoever. Also, Steven Seagal, who I looked up, his name in the movie is actually Lieutenant Colonel Austin Travis, such a Steven Seagal name. An executive decision. He dies like 20 minutes into the movie. I don't think anyone's going to see that movie from Steven Seagal, but you didn't think he was going to die within 20 minutes. And the fucker dies, like literally as the mission starts.
And I'm going to gavel this meeting closed for this week. Come back next week and join us as we delve into our favorite deaths in movies and pop culture. While I have you here, if you can take a moment, head on over to iTunes and rate and review us. Make sure to leave 5 stars in whatever description you like. Also, you can follow us on the socials, on Instagram at DoYouEvenSteamBro, and on Facebook at The Steam Gentleman. Please make sure to tell everybody about us, help us push the nefarious agenda of The Steam Gentleman to make sure that pop culture takes its proper place in the world. Till next week, I want you to keep that water hot and keep your head of steam on.